Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. Now, that's something I've noticed, I think we've all noticed in recent years, news moves very, very quickly. It moves very quickly, and the news cycle changes very, very quickly. You know, and less so, I think, in the Doctor Who world. After a Doctor Who special when, like, we got months to go to a next one, so less so, but reasonably quickly nonetheless, right? Before, we're still dealing with that big story that David Tennant has been cast as the 14th Doctor. I don't think he has, but I wouldn't be amazed if he has, right? That's basically where I am on it. I can see the logic in it. I just don't think it's going to happen, right? I just don't think it's going to happen. Now, I'm looking at this article that is from 8 days ago, just 8 days ago, where we were dealing with the last big news story, which was the BBC being defunded. And the wailing and the gnashing of teeth that went behind it. Now, the reason BBC is being defunded, well, I mean, it's not really being defunded. They said the license fee is, not looking like it's got so much long-term, health in it. If the license fee was a person, I would advise it not to start reading any long books, right? Now, it might not go away because there's a general election where the government may indeed change. Probably not. I mean, I don't know. The question is, is the unbelievable inefficiency and buffonishness of the right wing, the Conservative Party, going to be slightly less objectionable than the buffoonish socialism and racism of the left-wing part of the Labour Party? Who knows or dares to dream? It doesn't really make a difference. They're all buffoons, I mean, aren't they? So it's not really a done deal that is going away, but a lot of us feel, I think a lot of us, me, and a lot of people watching this channel feels that there's very good reason that the BBC needs to be defunded, and I think most of you out there feel exactly the same way as me, that we love the BBC. Like, it breaks our heart that it's come to this, but the BBC does need to be defunded, in my opinion. So the response to this was incredible, and you can see the response. What's the word I'm looking for? Holistically, right? But no matter where you are, you could see the response. And where we are in our little niche in fandom, the response was very, very clear. So we had Gareth Roberts, Doctor Who, former Doctor Who author Gareth Roberts, who has no interest in ever going back to even in Russell T Davies RTD2, right? He has no interest in doing anything with the BBC ever again. And again, I think he loved the BBC. Like, if you look at his Twitter feed, it's all about BBC content. It's a nice mix of Allo and Doctor Who. I do enjoy, and a bit of not 40 Towers, Are You Being Served, thrown in there. So yeah, it is a nice mix in that, on his Twitter feed. I think he loved the BBC, loves a lot the BBC output, as we all do. And then we have, so he wrote an article trying to explain what's going on. But the incredible cognitive dissonance of people on the other side of the argument who like, what? Oh my, the BBC, the beloved BBC. Everybody loves the BBC. No one's upset with the BBC. Fascinating, absolute fascinating living in another reality was on the other side. That's what we're going to be looking at here from our little vantage point in fandom. So we got, who was it? Jack Thorne, the namby-pamby writer of his Dark Materials. Okay, I'm not going to let my I'm not going to not let my bias show. My bias will absolutely show all the way through this. And then we got the awesome Gareth Roberts rebuttal that we're going to read together. When I say read together, I'm going to read it and you're going to listen, okay? I guess that's how it's going to work, unless you want to find it online and read along with the rabbi. Ooh, isn't that fun? Fine, before we get into it, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things. Freaking wonderful. If you're on Rumble, hit the Rumble button, baby. baby, hit that rumble button. It sounds a lot more fun than it is. And check out my Substack, link in the video notes, which is, if I make, look, I review things here on this channel, and I try and give honest, positive reviews, so people know what to say, which way to go with something. My Substack is awesome. In fact, I would say probably the greatest Substack of all time. And that may sound like hyperbole, right? That may sound like hyperbole, but then when you look at it, you go, oh my God, I think this is the greatest Substack of all time. What is a Substack? A Substack is an email newsletter. It's not that exciting, really. It's funny, isn't it, that we finally come back to email again after going through all the social media. It's an email newsletter. You get, updated about all the content I put out, which again, I think cheap at twice the price, which is free. And also you get early access, get early access to my videos. If I can remember to send out the emails in time, I am the weakest link in this chain. Let me be very clear. So I also put out a ton of comic book stuff. We got Red Ghost running. We have Ice Warriors running. We're gonna have other stuff going on. If I can just find more time in the day, there's gonna be more stuff out there. It's gonna ask you, would you like to upgrade to the paid Substack, which is $5 a month? Now listen, if you're asking me, if you go, Rabbi, should I upgrade? I'm gonna go, yeah, baby, absolutely, because I do benefit from that. But I do try and put out great content on there. We got Crown of the Empire launching in February, which is my new book. I'm on issue 3 right now. I hope to finish drawing it by today. I'm recording this on Thursday, and man, oh my God, massive storm going outside. Jerusalem's got snow. We got hail. It's a bit lame, really. It's a bit lame, but it's funny. My wife is who works in Jerusalem. Everyone's working from home today because it's snow in Jerusalem. So. And everyone's putting out pictures of the snow, right? And we put out this lame picture. My wife put out this lame picture of just wet streets because of the hail, right? It wasn't not so. But the weird thing is, a senior work colleague of my wife put a picture out, did a selfie with him in it, and he's not wearing a shirt. It's really weird. And he's like a kind of high up executive. Like, dude, what's going on? He's not wearing a shirt with all this snow behind him. I thought that was strange, okay? I thought that was strange. But you know what? I like the strange things in life. I think we should look out for the strange things in life. The kind of is. Yes, as I said, so I don't know how we got to that tangent, but can you sign up to my Substack, please? That'd be great. Thank you very much. Fine. So let's start off with radiotimes.com. Radiotimes.com. In shock. What? The BBC isn't the most beloved organisation. No, we all hate it, right? The reason we all hate it, look at Doctor Who. I think Doctor Who is such a great example. And actually, it's incredible. Doctor Who is such an incredibly contemporary and cutting-edge show. And I think that's built into its DNA more than change, right? It's such a contemporary... It takes on whatever the most contemporary, cutting-edge type of television is being made at the time, if Doctor Who is good, right? If Doctor Who's in a good state. So it makes a lot of sense that, the Chris Chibnall, Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who would be so awful, which is most of TV is so freaking awful. Most of TV has lost 50% of its audience, and you get these ridiculous arguments like, no, it's just Netflix and YouTube. Well, it is YouTube. We are better than you, okay? It's just Netflix and people consume media dip. No, you make shit and nobody wants it, right? If you take a shit on somebody's pillow and call it chocolate, it's still a shit, right? And I don't care how much you scream that it's chocolate. It's not. It's not. And that's basically a fair description of where the world is today, right? And the BBC is a shit on your pillow, and they're saying, we're chocolate! No, you're not, mate. I'm all for progressiveness, actually. I really am. I mean, I think there's... I think it's good for society to progress, right? I like the idea of there being different looking people coming into different nations and changing the identity of that nation. That's not called natural, normal growth. I'm not opposed to that at all, but I am opposed to tokenization, which is, I think, what rich white people think is anti-racism. Right? People like Chris Chibnall or Jody Whittaker, they think anti-racism is making human beings into tokens and go, oh, look at this! He's a gay! Look, I put a gay in Doctor Who! Right? He's an astronaut and he's a gay. I mean, that's really the vibe I get from the BBC. So the BBC, not so popular, and the only thing less popular than that is the government that's trying to win back favour. I mean, really, of all the shitty things a government can do, having a party while telling you know, like, why did anybody think there wasn't this elitism that the ruling classes don't look down? It's like, really? And then it's like the when Me Too started in Hollywood. We're like, what? You didn't know about the casting couch? I thought we all knew about that, didn't we? Okay, well, no. Now we're all shocked. But okay, whatever. So anyway, let's hear what Jack Thorne says about his argument. And I haven't read these yet, right? So I will be taking the piss out of them as we go. Okay. Help in his Dark Materials writer Jack Thorne. We need the BBC. Well, you do. Right, you do, because it's the only way you're going to get anything to a bloody audience, isn't it? Exactly. Following these, the government plans to scrap the licence fee and cut BBC funding. Award-winning writer, okay, who won where were the awards from? The BBC? Yeah, exactly. It's a circle jerk, you know, like, stop trying to, like, pretend that gives you validity, that you say you have validity. Once again, there's a shit on your pillow, and they're telling you it's chocolate, right? It's not chocolate. And also, yellow snow almost always is never lemon flavored. Okay? Just don't eat yellow snow. Especially in Jerusalem. Jathel makes an appeal to protect it. Dude, we've appealed to you over and over again. For years and years and years, we said this is not going to end well for anyone. Right? You turning entertainment into platforms for insane ideology that nobody really believes, right? Even the people who champion it don't really believe it, right? It has been rejected by the British public, and maybe you should have looked at those little viewing figures, right? Those viewing figures that said, we hate you. The reason those viewing figures say we hate you is because the BBC says in their programming, we hate you to the audience. So, okay, if you don't agree with our white, liberal, Twitterati sensibilities, you're a bad person. You're a garbage person on the wrong side of history. Dude, the last proof of me that talked about being on the wrong side of history were those naughty National Socialists in Germany, okay? Not really your best bedfellows. I love the BBC. I used to. Man, I'm still, I don't know. I think up until 2017, basically, I loved the BBC. I've always loved the BBC. Me too. Just as I've always loved Channel 4. Don't get me wrong. I watched other channels too, and indeed work for them. But there's something about the ethos of public service broadcaster, the BBC, public service broadcaster, which warms my insides with joy. It did 5 years ago, didn't it? Right? Until you became completely disconnected from the audience. I think it was Brexit that broke you. Right? Here's my basic default setting, right? If you are terrified to discuss honestly the issues, then you're probably full of shit. Okay, that's basically it. If you're this big bust up I had with our local rabbi, because I thought he was doing things against Judaism, and I was later proved right. But yeah, he would only talk about me behind my back, right? He would never ever engage me in the issues, and he would always hide behind his title, right? To avoid just answering simple bloody questions. It was just breathtaking. And again, when you won't discuss the issues, I genuinely think you're full of shit. Okay, that's basically my issue. When you're scared to discuss the issues, I genuinely think you are full of shit. Okay. So this was written with an extreme bias. I just wish you would see what the BBC is today. Right, you're writing for the BBC in 1987, which was awesome, right? So this runs into extreme bias. I am not impartial, but I do think there are several impartial reasons to protect the BBC. Where were you 5 years ago when Common Purpose came in and destroyed the BBC? Yes, I really wish you would have done that. I really wish you would have spoken out against Piers Wenger, right? And the entirety of the BBC output. I really, really wish you would have done that, but you didn't. I'm not the BBC needs to be protected. For the licensee to be protected, I'm not gonna list all of them, but the one personally that I think hasn't been given enough focus in the debate is the local versus the global. Okay, television has an importance beyond just a means to pass the time. It isn't just chewing gum for the eyes. And we know you think that, okay? That's why the BBC is going down, right? We understand that you are trying to convey messages within your programming. I understand. But you forgot that programming was also supposed to be entertaining, and your messages are basically repugnant, right? People just do not, and they're full of shit as well. The messages are like, well, don't you care about trans people? They kill themselves, so we've all got to be trans now. What? Yeah, yes! Everybody's got to take it. We all got to be trans. Penises are female and vaginas are male. You've got to stop them killing themselves. Okay, so let's say we do that and the instances of suicide don't go down, but in fact go up, as has seemed to be the case. Is there going to be any form of mea culpa? No, I don't think so. I said in my McTaggart lecture, whatever that is, that it is an empty box, and I truly believe it. A connection to what the country is beyond the hamlets that we live in. I talk to people for work, but my circle of family and friends beyond it is extremely small. Obviously, right? Are you on Twitter a lot, mate? Are you on Twitter? I get a feeling you are. I'm 43, and I think that's pretty standard for my age. What? I think that's... What? Yeah, I'm 43, and I think that's pretty standard for my age. Yes, most people who are 43 are indeed 43. God, this is a writer? Okay, fine. Similarly, my reach online in terms of what news I read and what social media I search with is also limited. I have never on any of the places I check seen a single article expressing fears about vaccines. In fact, not one of my friends has expressed such fear, but I don't doubt for others that the fear is all they see and talk about. See, again, I wish you would look at other... This is why the BBC is going down, okay? You misstated the argument. You made a straw man so you can defeat it, right? People, generally speaking, aren't afraid of vaccines. People, generally speaking, want the freedom to choose whether or not to take a vaccine, right? Let's be honest. This vaccine is for COVID is a very new vaccine. I've taken it, right? Triple vax. My wife's quadruple. I didn't really bother with the fourth one because what's the point? It doesn't do anything against Omicron, as far as I can tell, right? So. It's not about fears of vaccine. It's about fears of losing really important social freedom, right? It's like that's the fear. And if you would get out of your idiot bubble, right, you would know that. And it's really weird. I have noticed, and I think this goes back to a fear of being able to state an opposing argument, because the only reason you're scared to state an opposing argument is because you can't answer it, right? It beats you down. So that's why I think there's been several studies. I'm not gonna link any citation. That generally speaking, that people on the... And again, left and right are meaningless terms, but I basically understand what I think you mean. People on the right, on the right of the spectrum, tend to take their media and their news from several sources, including those they disagree with. I do anyway. And those on the left do not at all. So therefore, this gentleman here has no clue why people are upset about vaccine mandates, right? Not about the vaccine. It's about the mandate, right? It's about the mandate. And also about policies that just didn't really work. I mean, Hell yeah. And my wife gets so mad. And my wife and kids all get mad when I say this. But, like, objectively, lockdowns did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. We've got unlimited data about it now. You take 2 states in America, like Florida and Michigan, right? They're exactly the same, right? One was locked down and beyond lockdown, lockdown, and one was open, right? They're basically the same. Just reality is reality. When people do not like reality being reality when they're wrong, right? People just don't want to be wrong. It's amazing. And we turn on the TV and radio. We're presented with a complication of our lives, many different ways of living. No, you're not. You're introduced with a monoculture from the BBC. Wonderful. Again, how strong was the Brexit there? How pro-Trump were they? And I know they in their insane arrogance go, ooh, pro-Trump, ooh, but no, that's disgusting. We're more enlightened. Excuse me, mate. You promised the world would end with Brexit, it didn't. Yeah, you promised that Trump was the worst, he was the best. You promised that Biden would be the best, he's the worst, right? Everything you say, and that's not even talking about the actual lies, right? The actual lies, like, I don't know, Hunter Biden laptop, Carl Rittenhouse, like the actual lies. So I'm sorry. You don't get a diversity from the BBC. You get an absolute monoculture. A monoculture which believes the Western world is intrinsically racist, and I deeply disagree with that. So yeah, that's the problem. There's less curation. There's total curation. There is still some. A representation on television is far from good enough. Again, Jack, mate, how big was the pro-Brexit representation? Exactly. And but you go, but that was wrong. We can't promote something that's wrong. Maybe you were wrong, or maybe the people you support were wrong. So get out your fantasy, right? Get out your absolute fantasy. Let's keep. But there is a spread of reaction, and most important of all drama. With drama, these views aren't just stated; they're explored. They're more preached. Again, have you seen Doctor Who? The reason it's so simplistic and so stupid nowadays is because it's made the platform simplistic and stupid ideas. They go, you can wreck planets or you can save them. I mean, it's a simplistic and a stupid idea. Anybody who takes a child suffering from several mental disorders, as Greta Thunberg was, who's now an adult suffering from many mental disorders, as somebody you should listen to and revere. Yeah, it's fine that you think that, but don't stuff Doctor Who full of that, right? And it's okay if you want to have a conversation about it. I'm fine with that. Have it in the way. Again, another one of the straw man arguments they always make this. People say Rusty Davies is going to take out the politics of Doctor Who. I don't want the politics taken out. No, I just want good stories, right? Aliens of London, World War III. That was a great example I read about yesterday, which the very, very, very obvious political allegories to was it Iraq War, Desert Storm, which was big at the time, right? They're done very, very cleverly with good characters who you liked. Fine. They explored, we are shown people who look and feel different from ourselves. Well, they certainly look and feel different from the rest of the British public. Now, according to the BBC, everybody's lesbian and black, okay? Everybody is trans, lesbian, black. And everybody loves being trans, lesbian, and black because that's the bestest ever. From the Archers to EastEnders. How's EastEnders doing? EastEnders was designed to be a reflection of society. It stopped being that, and now it's in the toilet. Isn't it? Exactly the reason your metrics are so bad. Line of Duty, they I don't think they touch much because it's one of the few things that make money for them, and you can just say, listen, if they say, oh, don't do that, he'll just make another show exactly the same on another channel, right? Which is basically what Steve Moffat has done. Which is basically what Rusty Davies has done. He's like making everything for Sony now. A British social attitude survey revealed 36% of respondents don't know any disabled people. Okay, And again, I don't trust your survey, right? I don't trust any data you give me because everything is always skewed to you, so you can go, see, it's the science. It's the science, right? You know, and you just want to shut down debate. What? Because you don't have a leg to bloody stand on. We're better to see complications of their lives, but on TV. Again, if you would do a show about disabled people not as tokens but as human beings, I think everybody would love to see that. I really. What's the day-to-day life like for somebody who's young and disabled, right? Like, I think that yes, and that niche programming is why the BBC was freaking awesome, because that's not something that's commercially that viable, right? But that sort of niche programming was freaking awesome, and it's so disgusting that they pissed all that away so they can wag their finger at you and go, Brexit was bad, which they're still bloody doing. Trump was bad, even though the objective metrics in everybody's everyday life is not that at all. Netflix, Disney, and Amazon will not provide these windows in the same way the British public broadcasters will. Again, British public broadcasters don't give a crap about serving the British public. They hate the British public. They will not provide them because they are predominantly concerned with reach and not representation. I don't think that's actually good. I think they're very concerned with representation. Have you not seen Disney's output? It's entirely representation, and it's having the same effect as the BBC's output, right? I love they put the one good show they had on last year as look, we do lots of this. Mate, that will find a home anywhere, right? Jimmy McGovern Sean Bean will find a home freaking anywhere, okay? Responsibility. If BBC and Channel 4's responsibility, it's their charter, and it's my big concern that BBC is threatened with commercial pressures. When does the responsibility change from representing and reflecting the glorious diversity of Britain? It doesn't. Again, does EastEnders in any way match the output, match a demographics of EastEnders? In fact, of the British public. In fact, this book here, which I do review, they do a chapter of each week as a book on tape. Season 13, best Doctor Who being made right now. I keep that's my tagline for it. It's true. I think chapter 9, right? They end up in a this pocket universe of Doctor and Romana, right? And they're in a pastiche of the EastEnders universe, which is nothing like reality whatsoever, right? Nothing like it at all. So yeah, I wish the BBC hadn't pissed this all away. I really do. When does the responsibility change the glorious diversity of Britain to watching their share price or subscription numbers? No one's scared of seeing black people. No, people just dislike them being tokenized. I'm a huge fan of all streamers. I spent a fortune in my subscriptions, and my wife and I are glued to every different type of TV most nights. But if I want to see a portrait of my country, I know I'm unlikely to get it there. You're unlikely to get it on the BBC, aren't you? I'd love to see a portrait of your country. They do tell stories about the UK, but they tell stories that are globally consumable. There is, honestly, I think that's what made Russell T Davies' initial Who so successful. It was so British. It was so British. They're globally consumable. There tend to be a lot of regional accents and a lot more. There tend to be a lot less regional accents and a lot more RP. Seen Peaky Blinders recently, and there tend to be stories about a version of Britain rather than the truth of Britain. Well, again, that's EastEnders. That's not the truth of Britain at all. I love Bridgerton. I love The Crown, and I have a version of the next 40 years in my head where Golda Roche-Ailvel is a future Queen of England. Okay, but what a glory she'll be. I have no idea who that is. But time, our friends in the north, the Salisbury poisoning, holding on 5 Daughters, 3 Girls. I don't see these shows on streamers because they will not play globally. They are distinctive, they are real, and they are the stories, and they are vital. You know what? I don't disagree with that point. I mean, I don't know these dramas at all, but I don't disagree with that point at all. I wish you protected the BBC, right? I really wish you had. I really wish you hadn't had this open, blind hatred of the audience. We're already seeing these types of show under threat. Yeah, they're threatened by price inflation of TV hour that happened, particularly in the last few years. Again, last few years, TV output has been unbelievably poor. Yeah, Doctor Who, I think, great example, isn't it? Has become more attractive as a location to make TV due to tax incentives and general crew brilliance. The cost of making TV has become more expensive. Crewing a show, finding locations, finding studio space, and all these things have become more competitive, so it's more expensive. Increasingly, to make TV shows, you need to attract international finance, where social realism, with a social realism that's really hard. I just again, I seen Star Trek Discovery recently. No. On my TV last year, we were incredibly lucky. We had superstar Stephen Graham. I love Stephen Graham, right? Of that Stephen Graham, he's just a fantastic actor, right? Absolutely fantastic actor. And Jodie Comer, man, that sounds great. I would love to see the show. Stephen Graham, Jodie Comer on our side, so we got finance, but it wasn't easy. Stop whining how hard it is, okay? Stop whining to me how hard it is. Go and make good quality work and find a freaking audience, right? That's really the bottom line. They go, I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. Then maybe you shouldn't be doing it, okay? I'm sorry. And frankly, I think small movies are going to do very well on things like Netflix. Because that's where they live now. Rom-coms, they live on Netflix. They don't put them in the cinema. Good news, because nobody's going there. But it wasn't easy because we were telling a British story about British care with British Liverpudlian accents to an international audience sometimes struggle to understand. Listen, again, this is why we needed a functional BBC. This is why it's tragic. We don't have a functional BBC. Threaten the BBC and this will drain will get me this. I'm worried about the next was it Jimmy McGovern shows. He's fine. He's fine. How do we support the next Jimmy, the next Sally Rainwright, the next Michaela Cole? If you love your art, you will find a way. Make it indie. If you love your art, you will find a way. And this is just pathetic, right? Speaking as an independent, commercial artist, right? I guess that's how you would describe a comic book writer and artist, right? You find your audience, and it's not so. You start a YouTube channel, right? Honestly, which is what the BBC should really be a social media platform. Which they recruit from, right? To get the personalities. Therefore, you're not paying Gary Lineker ridiculous sums for him to wag his idiot finger at you. These authors are vital, not just for the good of our industry, but the good of our country. Now, obviously, drama is a bit of the TV industry. I understand, but drama has been awful in the last few years, as has comedy. But it's true for documentary entertainment, lifetime shows, and soaps. Listen, you're just kvetching because the quality that the BBC has put out has been diabolical, and you're gonna have to step up the game. TV is precious, BBC is precious, we must protect it. Too late, mate. Too late. So that's the argument. I think the head and the sand argument for the BBC. Now let's hear good glorious Gareth Roberts blow them away. Why should we pay for the BBC that hates us so much? Absolutely. The BBC has blown whatever chance it had to bring the nation together. Yes. Absolutely. Again, I can say you see exactly the same thing with the American media as well, right? They really screwed their country big time. A lot of the disasters unfolding, throughout the Western world right now can be linked directly back to media not being just being on board for this insanity. Culture Secretary Nadine Norris, the most ardent of the Boris Johnson stands, obligingly threw the deadest of cats onto the table at the weekend to distract from the woes of a beleaguered boss. Well, yeah, he's got a good turn of phrase. Yes, okay, and that didn't do the trick, but I'm glad it was thrown onto the altar. Right? She announced a 2-year freeze on the BBC licence fee and dangled the prospect of scrapping it entirely. Hey! Why am I so happy? Again, I like Doctor Who. That's why I'm bloody happy. Nadine Dorries will be well aware the BBC has always result that any threat to the BBC always results in a furious chorus of anger, horror, and prophecies of woe. We just saw that coming from precisely the people the Tory grassroots are likely to detest. They obligingly popped up Polly, Tony B, Nish Kumar, Carrie Lineker, fine, all present and correct. This wasn't so much political theatre as pantomime, with stock phrases and responses. She's behind you! Yes, exactly right. Behind all this repetitive call and response, there's something different this time on both sides. Doris is notably blatant and direct where she tweeted that the license fee consultation will be the last, although she seems lesser with the Commons a couple of days later. And her detractors seem more at a loss, struggling to find the counterexamples of BBC's excellence that he used to come quickly and easily to hand. Yeah, not so many nowadays, are there? Citizen Khan creator Adil Ray tweeted BBC promotional video asking you, what has the BBC ever done for us? That was made 36 years ago. Yes, 36 years ago, I will agree with you. Don't scrap the BBC. Comedian Simon Day provided a list of comedies going back to the 1950s, which contained only one show commissioned in the past 15 years. Are you paying attention yet? Right? Yes. The BBC was great. Now it's garbage. Right. What this seems to show is the BBC is now in a fix. In a way, the BBC hasn't changed that much. It's doing what it's always done, reflecting and embody a certain section of the middle class. It's so true. It's so true. When that section of middle class was saved, or at least fairly saved, it could be fairly saying that it could be irritating on occasion. But we all forgive it because its heart was in the right place. But in the past decade, the normally liberal middle class has, to put it politely, gone both doolally and totalitarian. Oh, yes! And, a little bit of self-reflection wouldn't hurt, right? A little bit of self-reflection would not hurt. To consume the BBC since about 2012 is never more than... To consume the BBC since about 2012 is to be never more than 10 minutes away from being scolded, operated, usually based on some spurious identity politics point from a sick vortex of American academia. Already I thought this happens more frequently, about every 35 seconds. I would love to hear the Jack Thorns of the world answer this. Right? Okay, well, yeah, or even the many, many people wailing and gnashing and teeth. I'd like to hear the Gary Linekers answer this. Right? Yes. In Doctor Who, I'd like to hear, what's that guy's name? He's going to be back because Rusty Davies is back. I'd like to hear Ben Cook answer this, right? He's always very I actually haven't seen his Twitter feed for ages, but I remember he was very big on Twitter. But he's always very strident, whatever. On radio, it's unbearable. It's like paying $159 a year on pain of imprisonment and to be told off by a particularly irritating polytechnic lecturer. Yes, I am really sick of being lectured at by my moral inferiors, and I think you are too. And I think most of the British public is too. And that's who they are. They are our moral inferiors, right? Just by definition of who they are. BBC gets a lot of stick for this, understandably, but the Bee's drama, comedy, and documentary output is now infested with it too. It's the same crushingly banal suite of opinions across everything. Life before Blair was grey, damp, horror, a cultural wasteland of prejudice where Oswald Mosley had huge amounts of support. Strange enough, insinuating people's grandparents were all fascists doesn't endear you to them. And it's so insane, right? It's so insane. Yeah, I will remind you that when fascism really did raise its head in the UK, it had its balls kicked in quite viscerally, didn't it? I mean, with Mosley, and remorsefully had the piss taken out of them. If you ever find any of the who is it? Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie, Jeeves and Wooster. There's a really good episode, which I assume comes from a book of the time, just taking the piss out of the fascists of the 30s. Right? Yeah, I think it was a great thing. Yeah, and it's such an insane inversion of reality to say we were all racist before 10 minutes ago. No, we weren't, mate. No, we weren't. Working class whites are bigots. No, again, it was the working class whites that freaking kicked the fascists in the balls, mate. I'm sorry, but that's just and I have to tell you, if anybody's going to be given control over the nation, it should be the working classes. Really, really should be. The intelligentsia have not really done their best work, have they? No. Who can't be trusted with basic information in case they start a race war. Fiona Bruce has kittens on live on air when a doctor states the simple fact that it's impossible to change sex. Yeah, no, they're all insane. They've all completely insane. The BBC's younger journalists have been told that people have different opinions. If upper class or working class people can't be shamed or blamed for something, the BBC just isn't interested. It's stultifying bourgeoisie. It so is. The BBC is often valued and often trumpets itself as a thing that brings the nation together. No, not at all. They brought the nations together in saying that we hate it, right? We hate it with every fibre of being. Yes, that is something that did bring us together. Much like that rabbi I banged heads with. We basically brought the community together by saying we really don't like you very much. That didn't go down well with him. Anyway, I think it's transmogrified into doing the opposite, with a superior sneer that treats Britain like something is found on its shoe. Yes. I was witness to this gradual maddening in television. When I started out in TV in 1996, I was regarded as an oddity, gay with strange and a useless degree and an enthusiasm for genre programs. That made me odd, a bit esoteric. Fast forward to 2012, I felt like I'd been left behind, gasping in the dust on all those fronts. Now I was regarded as a vulgar populist, a horny-headed son of toil. Over the years, everybody became posher and 10 times madder. It's so true, isn't it? Yeah, everybody did become posher and more worried about the working classes while at the same time hating them. Raise a polite objection, even the most agreeable way to any of the belief in the suite. People stare at you as if you defecated in their handbags. You can see them file you away mentally as a nasty person, a garbage person on the wrong side of history. Okay. This maddening is far, far bigger at the BBC. It has gripped the entirety of the creative sector in the Western world. Publishing, for example, is a madhouse of sensitivity readers and ideological purity spirals. Look at the comic book industry, right? It is DC Comics, Marvel Comics, completely in freefall, right? I don't know how 2008 DC's doing. I was reading that when I got off DC and Marvel Comics for a while, but it turned out that it was weird. 70% of every issue was about female heroes, right? It used to be about 15 to 20 to 30 max, right? But what's wrong with male heroes? You basically had Judge Dredd, and that was it. And Judge Dredd was always accompanied by a stunning and brave woman. When I stopped reading it, it was when he was being accompanied by a stunning and brave woman accountant judge. I mean, Ah, that's kind of boring. Okay, that's kind of boring. I hate to tell you. Technology has hastened this. It may now no longer be physically possible for a country to share 20th century style mass culture. This has huge implications that we are now only beginning to grasp. Ending the license fee won't alter that one jot. Anyone who has worked with BBC Studios, a commercial arm of the BBC, will tell you commercial arm will tell you it's more ideologically hidebound and creepily Californian. Netflix and Sky are coming from pretty much the same place, with not a penny of public money. Yeah, look, yeah, again, all this wokeness in TV. Jack Thorne is like saying, "No, we need the BBC for that." Well, you seem to be doing a lot of it anyway, and it's not as if there's a legion of dissenting writers and journalists standing outside the system being cruelly snubbed. There's a massive cultural disconnect between the viewers and the whole industry. This is the big problem, not the BBC per se. Absolutely. On that basis, there's really a good case for keeping a public service broadcaster to heal the wound. On the other hand, the BBC has had its chance to do this and has gone further and further in the opposite direction. It didn't even try. It didn't even notice it needed to. That's really good. It's really too late, and it is really too late. And it's so sad, right? It's so sad that it is really too late. No one's happy about this, but I don't know. Listen, I just believe people are forgiving. I really do. I think, and I don't know why politicians can't do this. I don't know why corporations can't do this. I don't know. What was it? Biden said something completely wrong. Oh yeah, Biden was on a hot mic. But okay, here's the weird thing. He was standing on a lectern with microphones in front of him. Do you not think they're microphones? Anyway, he didn't know they were turned on. And the Fox reporter asked him on the way out. So he was mad that people aren't asking him about the economy because that's what he was there for. So the Fox reporter said, do you think the inflation is an asset in the midterms? And so he goes, yeah, it's a real asset. Stupid SOB. He said it out. And, to his credit, he phoned the Fox reporter, personally, and said, look, it was nothing personal, which I thought was quite impressive. But then, everything gets into tribalism and go, no, he was wrong to ask the question. He was wrong. Why can't anybody have said, listen, I'm under a lot of pressure. We look like you might be going to war any minute. I'm sorry I spoke out of turn. Why can't anybody do it? Why can't the BBC say, listen, this came from the best place. And it really did. It came from the best of intentions that we wanted to serve the public and we didn't want anybody to feel sidelined or marginalized, and it got out of control. If they would just do that and say, listen, we're going to go back to basics. We're going to with any of these things, with Star Trek, with Star Wars, with comics, whatever, just say, look, we screwed up. I'm sorry, we screwed up. You've given us a message and we've heard it. I think people are forgiving, right? I think people are forgiving. I think people want to be forgiving. I want to be forgiving, right? People like to see, people getting their comeuppance. I think what's even better is people saying, I'm sorry. It's even so much better than I think repentance is better than punishment. In short, it's just really too late. Why should anybody pay for an organization that hates them? Let it be over. I don't imagine this will be the end of the licensee. I don't imagine the end of the licensee will make things better. I think I really think this wokeness is this insanity is going to be burnt out this time next year. I really genuinely do. I think the world is about to be broken from it, right? I think push has come to shove, and we are just the world is just I don't think can really take it much more. Either that, or we're going to turn into China and any dissenting voices will be sent to happy camps that I'm sure the Uyghurs are sent to as well. That sort of thing. It could go either way, but I really think it's going to be burnt out within a year. I can only hope so. I think this is a really important shot at the BBC. I just wish they would fire everybody and change course, right? That's what they really need. They just need to fire everyone. You need to get rid of what's it, June Songpo is her name, the head of they need to cut all this nonsense. Just cut it all. You don't need any of it, right? You don't need any of the diversity officers. And I do think if the BBC did that, if they said, look, we're sorry, we're getting rid of all this nonsense, we're making good TV. We're making TV for you. And yeah, we want to make TV that makes you think, okay, and think different thoughts and reflects England and reflects things that are not commercially viable on TV. We want all that, right? I think people would forgive them. But it's never going to happen, right? It's never, ever going to happen, which is a bit of a pity. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.